I'm presenting the climate fresk, maybe the most known of every fresk. The climate fresk is important to do in the companies because it's the start of your sensitizing trip. And with this fresk, you will know what is the IPCC and what is in the IPCC reports for intergovernmental panel on climate change. So with a game with 42 cards, you will learn what is going on now and in the future with the climate change. You will learn what are the causes, what are the consequences of climate change. With your team, you will play with the 42 cards thanks to the collective intelligence. You will talk together and you will read the card. On the card, you will have some text, very simple text. You don't need to have scientific knowledge to participate to a climate fresk workshop. You will read the card and replace them on the table to construct your fresk and to see a global scheme, a global picture of every steps of the climate change, what is accelerating the climate change, what is breaking the climate change, and then you will learn what are the main consequences on the humans. So this is the first part of the workshop. Then you will have a creative part of the workshop. You will together have to draw some arrow between the cards to materialize the link of cause and consequences between them. And why we are doing that? Because it have an interest to memorize the information, because you will see your team after creating your fresk tell, this card has a link with this card, and this card have a link with this card, and then together you will draw the arrow between the cards, and you will replace the information at the good place in your mind. And it's also the time to have a team building moment together, because we are talking about dramatic events. We are talking about something who can be sad for you, but we are sure that if you are feeling a good moment, you will learn better and you will memorize better the information. So then we have a third part called circle of emotions. Everybody can tell what he or she feels when he or she participate to the workshop. For example, what climate change is provoking, what emotions are provoking in you when you learn some data on climate change. We can talk about eco-anxiety during this part of the workshop, and our facilitators will help you to understand what are the different steps of changing behaviors, because you cannot change your life in one day, in 2 days, maybe not in 1 month, but you have to learn that every human is going through some emotion, some steps when we are changing some major part of our lives. And when we want to do positive actions in our lives, when we want to change a part of our lives to face climate change, we have to go through this emotion, these steps, and you have to learn how it works, and that it's normal to go through that. Then we will have the last part, maybe the most important part, the debrief or the projection to action of the fresk. It's a part when the facilitator will show you, will present you some data, some metrics on carbon footprints. For example, what are the carbon footprint of an average citizen in your country, and what are the differences between different countries? For example, what is the carbon footprint of an American, of Chinese people, in India, in Poland, in France, etc. The main objective is to understand that we are not starting from the same point. Every country has a carbon footprint which is different, so we cannot take the same actions in France than in India, and in USA we have different actions different actions that we can trigger every day. And then we can make some focus on the link between transport and climate change, food and climate change, buildings, construction and climate change, etc., etc. Inequalities and climate change, very important too. And we can also personalize this debrief to your company. For example, we can make a focus on what are the carbon footprint, for example, of the agro industry and the climate and the link to the climate change. We can make some benchmarks between the two fields of activities, and if your companies have already done his carbon footprint, we can present it to the salaries, to the employees, and you can after that think together, talk together to think about, okay, in my job, in my life, what can I do tomorrow and in the next 6 months to change my company, to change my job, to change my life. Of course, you will start by some steps, and then you will go further and further and further. You cannot change the companies in one day. You can change your life in one day, in 6 months, but you can start. The main objective, the main goal is to start doing action, start having a positive impact on climate change. So that's the three goals of the workshop: understanding what is a climate change, understanding data and metrics on what is producing CO2 emissions in your lives, and what we can do to change it positively and to have a positive impact on climate change. So like, as you can see in the slide, we already have sensitized 2 million people. We already have sensitized a lot of companies in the world in different fields of industry. So if you want to join the 48-hour of Massive Frescon, please come on. We need all companies, we need all countries, we need a global movement, which is already enhancing with Climate Fresk and also with Dotted and other workshops. So thank you everyone, and have a good Fresk.